Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we're talking with Damara Melissa. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. It's a nice beautiful day out.
Nice.
We're here today to talk about you, about your music, and about what you do in the world. But for those who are new, can you give a little intro about yourself?
Sure. My name's Damara, like you said. I I'm a Christian singer-songwriter. I'm married, I have two kids, and I homeschool. So it's a busy life, but it's great.
Yeah, kids are wonderful. I have a 1.5 year old, and I have another one on the way myself.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
It's gonna make for a pretty crazy end of the year because everyone's birthday, like mine, my wife's, and both kids are all gonna be within about 4 weeks.
Okay, yeah. We have some of that in September.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a bit more life-changing than usual.
Right. That's nice.
So, like I said, we're here to talk about your music, and I guess the first question is, what got you started down your musical road?
Well, I've always loved music. I guess I've always loved singing, and I started piano lessons at a young age. My parents realized that I had like a good ear, so they put me in lessons, but I didn't know that, well, they didn't know that playing by ear and reading music are like two different things. So I actually struggled in piano lessons for a long time. And then I quit eventually. And so it wasn't until like university that I kind of started playing again and kind of trying to learn on my own. And then when I was 19, my dad passed away, and that's when I started writing songs. And for me, it was just a way to process my thoughts and feelings, and it was just something I did for my own, um, just for my own self, my own enjoyment, and never really imagined sharing them, especially like not on a large scale or anything. But then in 2020, the Lord kind of showed me that there was some things that I hadn't worked through, and it was causing a lot of fear in me. And when we kind of worked through that, just like kind of launched me out on this journey to share my songs. He had been working on me for a couple years before that, just like, this is something that I've given you, and this is something you need to share. And yeah, so 2020 was the year that everything came to a head, and I just started sharing. So yeah, that's kind of what got me started.
Yeah, he gave you that little extra push out the door that you needed.
Yeah, it was a big push.
Hey, it got you out there at least though.
It did. Yeah, it did.
Is there like an inspiration, like someone that you heard an album maybe that really sparked your interest in the idea of creating music?
That's a good question. I mean, I've loved so many albums through the years. I don't know that there would be one that sparked my interest in creating music, but like I remember that Evanescence album when I was 16 was like it was like a lifeline just in terms of I don't know, just healing and being encouraged. And that is definitely something that I've wanted to do for people to kind of foster healing and encouragement. I've also been really impacted by 10th Avenue North, and
Okay.
they're back together, which is really cool.
I actually
So,
had an email about them recently. It's now that you say that name, yeah.
yeah, so I've been impacted by a few artists for sure and bands, and I'm just thankful to be able to be one now and hopefully contribute to some other people's lives like musicians have done for me. So,
Mm. So what do you think makes you a unique sound in the industry? We're very saturated with a lot of music right now. So how do you stand out?
truthfully, I don't really know. I don't know. I I guess I just hope that my unique set of experiences and I guess the sort of battles I've had to fight to overcome fear to even do this translate somewhere into my music, and that it kind of connects with people who may have faced similar things. And um, yeah, I
Hmm.
I hope.
Yeah, it's I look at that almost the way you're saying it as like a genuineness in your songs and that you're putting your feelings into it more.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that that comes across for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so I listened to few of your tracks beforehand when I was preparing for this, and I really like the you have. I think you have a unique way that you're putting them together with more of a really uplifting, fun tone to some of them, especially the
Mhm.
new release, the A Thousand Hallelujahs. It has
Right.
kind of a really unique build up in some of the spots, which are fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I do feel like it definitely reflects what I love about music. I love its ability to kind of take you from one place to another.
Hmm.
And I I'm actually in the midst of trying to find my sound, really. I'm working on an EP and it's just an exploration kind of because again, this isn't something that I grew up doing. It's not something that spent any time on before my 30s. So, it's really like a new beginning for me. It's like a new journey of figuring this out and my fans hopefully the fans that I have coming along for the ride with me and try to um, yeah, just kinda see where I land, so
So, what's your process like when you're putting together like a track like A Thousand Hallelujahs and just how you come together with everything?
yeah, so right from the beginning, I knew I needed to work with producers because I love the idea of being able to produce my own music, but as a wife and a mom and a homeschooling mom, the time to learn that, I just knew if I wanna share my songs, I have to work with people to get them out there.
Hmm.
So, what I usually do, when I'm working with a producer is I share kind of the vision that I have for the song, what I want it to sound like, feel like. Hopefully, I can provide some like inspiration tracks, which is usually really hard for me, honestly. I usually like can't find anything that I'm like, this is what I want it to sound like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try my best to explain, and then they come back with something, and then we kind of tweak it from there and keep going. I'm working with a producer named Bill from North Carolina right now, and he's been just amazing. Like, I feel like he can kind of read my mind. So it's been really refreshing and really encouraging to be able to kind of explain something and then have it sent back to you like, yes, this is it. This is
Hmm.
exactly it. So, yeah, so that's kind of my process for that.
Yeah, and it's like you said, if you can read your mind, it almost makes it sound feel easier, and you're like, oh yes, this is just perfect this way.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's really nice. And I've had some experiences like that in the past with others as well, but definitely not every song. Like it's been
Mm.
some songs you get that, and then others it's like, okay, take five. And until you're like, okay, this is going in the direction.
Yeah,
Um, just I mean, explaining in words what you hear is just it's hard, right? It's a difficult
yeah.
thing. So but yeah, so it's been really encouraging, this process with him.
Oh, that's good. And I've always found that it's interesting to see how the producer brain works because you're trying to basically make a an audio picture of something that is in someone else's mind and how do
Exactly.
you put that together? You have to have some sort of skills just to be able to like, oh, I think this is what they want right here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, for real. It's true.
Mhm.
So they're as much a part of the song as the artist. Although they're behind the scenes, they're in the background,
Yeah.
but they're definitely there. So
Out of the whole process, what's your favorite part? You have your writing, you have the production where you can build it, and then you have live performances. What's the one that really excites you the most?
I think for me, it's just the writing. I think it always kind of has been. Bringing it to life is probably they might be equal. I do love bringing it to life and hearing that kind of finished vision
Mm.
of, from like the raw demo. But I feel like there's something very unique or connecting about like the raw demo that you never get
Yeah.
in even in the finished product. So I really do love the writing. I think that's where I'm I don't know. I think that's the part that really is me, and then the rest is like I want to share that, so I'm growing in the rest, you know what I mean?
It's finding that new something and then being excited about it, then nurturing it. It's all great in every step of it, but it's that initial piece that
I
when you
think
start there.
so. I think so. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do love bringing it to life as well. But live performing is something that I never did. So that is an area I'm still growing in. I remember like even band in high school when we had to play our like our tests, I would literally shake. Like it was the worst. And so it's kind of like that every time I play live. It's not as bad, but it's definitely an area that I'm learning and growing in. And so the quiet by myself writing with me on the piano is always going to be my my happy place.
I was the same way in band. I used to play drums, but then I was very introverted, so actually like being with the drummer, I'm in the back, nobody sees me. It was great.
Right.
And then trying to actually perform some of those things when you have to do your tests. Oh, that was too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly that feeling.
Yeah. So over the years then, you've had a few releases now. How do you think your music has evolved just as just putting things together in your production and your confidence and everything?
Yeah, I think that like each release I learned something. Um, and I am just desiring to keep getting better, to keep growing. I want the people who have followed me from the beginning to see this like progression, you know? And so I think some of it is just certainty of what I want to hear. At the beginning, there would be times when I'm like, I don't really know what I want it to sound like. Just do something. And now it's like, no, this is what I want. I've got a vision and I'm pretty sure of it, and definitely open to ideas, definitely open to feedback, always, but more sure, I guess, of and again, just growing in that, trying different things, to see really what feels like me, what um, feels the most authentic to what's inside of me, what that sounds like. So yeah, I think there's definitely been growth. I think most people who are kind of following the journey would agree.
Mm,
And I just hope to keep growing and keep doing better, making sure not to compare myself to others, but to just do better than the previous each time. So,
sure, yeah. Now, is there something that you were shocked that you discovered about yourself as a like just as a person when you're growing with your music?
that's a good question. Shocked that discovered about myself.
Maybe something you didn't think that you were able to do that all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I can do this now."
I mean, all of it. All of it.
I suppose, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, yeah, I don't think I could pick one thing. It's crazy to me that like now, you know, writing a song, getting it produced, recording vocals, like putting in background vocals, releasing it, like it just seems such like a mountain when I first
Mhm.
tried, when I first did my first release. And now it just like I'm working on multiple songs at once, you know what I mean? And it just feels like something that I know how to do, which is crazy. So, yeah, and there's been lots of things. I think actually this is kind of like on the opposite side of like something that I didn't think I could do, but one of the things is has been pushing through my mistakes because in the past I would get so discouraged if I did something And I would just be like, oh, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? But I've seen myself like record a song in the wrong key and then have to do it again and like just push through that. So I think that's probably been the most surprising that I haven't given up yet. That's pretty surprising.
Well, you said it's like a mountain, but now it's more like there's no mountain high enough that, you can keep pushing yourself forward and keep pushing up those big mountains now.
That's fair. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So outside of music, you have your family and everyone around you, but is there something that you do for yourself to keep you grounded?
Oh, um, well, I mean, my like serving at my church and being with my friends, like those things keep me grounded.
I mean, family's going to keep you really grounded because they're always running around being crazy sometimes. And
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I love reading. I love fantasy novels. There's an author that I read almost everything he releases. And I love waiting for those books. That kind of is like something that I just do for fun. And then um my husband and I we've done all the Marvel movies. They're getting a little
yeah,
wonky now, but we are
they
we're
very
going
much
back.
are.
We're going back through them
I'm
and
hoping with
watching
some of
them.
their newer releases coming up, it kind of straightens things out. But yeah, I'm right on the same boat with you there that they're
I
a
hope
little bit
so. It would be so
off.
nice. Yeah, they're getting a little. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that would be it. We don't do a whole lot else right now, I would say. Yeah, we're just like focused on raising the kiddos and just serving at our church and being a part of the body and spending time with friends and family and yeah.
Well, those are all great things on their own too. So
Yeah, I think I enjoy them. I enjoy. Yeah.
yeah. And you sound like my wife with because she also loves reading and she waits for the new books coming out for her favorite author
Nice.
and we'll sit here sometimes and she's like, "Oh, I have to go to the store. I have to go now."
To
Because
get it.
she found out it released and she's like, "Are you? Can I go? Can I go now?" And I was like, Yes, dear, go ahead."
Yeah. You got to get them right away. Yeah, because you're waiting for them, right? So
Yeah,
for sure.
she doesn't have a lot of time to read right now with being pregnant and everything. So
Yeah.
but time off will happen later on for her.
Yes, it will.
So on the back half of my interviews, I always like to ask some different questions, maybe not exactly fully music related, but it should be fun. My favorite one to ask, and you might have a unique perspective on this, is what's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Hmm.
Maybe something that if you're watching an interview, you might want to hear, or anything kind of in that genre realm.
Right. I guess maybe uh like what people's struggles might be with either with music, I guess with music, because I think often we hear the highlights
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd be interested. I don't really want to answer the question.
Well, you kind of answered that throughout some of what we've been talking about.
That's fair. So maybe I just like shared my struggles anyways. But yeah, I think like it would be helpful, I guess, for others if I were listening to an interview it would be nice to know that others like struggle as well with certain things. So like what they struggle with. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's definitely a great one because especially up and coming musicians, if they're looking at, oh my God, how can I get past this? They see other people
Yeah,
having some similar issues and are able to get past that on their side. It works for everyone.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my favorite question because it makes everyone think probably the most.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, this is a fun one, is what's something on your go-to playlist people wouldn't expect that you listen to?
My go-to playlist that people wouldn't expect.
Yeah, maybe like maybe what you think might be a guilty pleasure song or something on that lines.
That's a good question. I don't know. I gotta look at my okay, hold on, I'm gonna look.
Quite honestly, everybody pulls up their playlist just to see.
Oh, okay, good. It's not just me. Um, I've got Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen on there.
Okay, that's a fun one. I have that on my playlist too, so
Okay. I still have Meant to Live by Switchfoot.
okay.
I will never, yeah, I think that will always be there. Yeah, I don't know. Is that, oh, and I have songs from The Greatest Showman. I
A
don't think
good
that's
musical though,
surprising though.
a good musical, you
I
can't
love
beat something. Yeah.
True. Yeah, so I have like 3 of those.
A lot of people underrate a lot of those songs too, just in like the musical, even the movies. Like I look at High School Musical, even though it's not
So
exactly what
good.
you would think for a lot of people, but they wrote really good songs and they were performed really
Excellent.
well. And yeah, there's a lot of
Oh
things that
yeah,
are underrated for sure.
I agree. Definitely.
I think people like for myself, I usually tell people I can go from like a Nicki Minaj song front to back all the way to a Metallica song or like my
Right.
favorite Michael Jackson is the pinnacle in one of my playlists. He's I have a
I mean,
whole discography that he's got in there.
right. Yeah. It's that's the beautiful thing about music is that it's even in its diversity, like there's so much good,
Mm,
and so many different, yeah, the pendulum swing. And my well, my husband loves like that, loves rock, like that
like a classic rock
essential
feel.
kind of classic rock. Um, and I think Skillet is like his favorite Christian band.
Okay.
And so, but I only like the Skillet songs that have melodies. Like if I can sing to it, I
Yeah.
like it. So,
Yeah, if it's
so
harder to enjoy that way, like without those things, I can understand that. I don't do
yeah,
like the hardcore screaming stuff because
screaming and yeah, this is not for me, but the kids will listen. They'll listen to it when I'm not in the car, and it's their big joke that or their fun thing to do with dad. So it's
I,
funny.
I've actually done some of that with my niece. If I like, I might pick her up from school and then she'll ask me to put on some crazy deathcore or something and blast the music. And all right, if you want. And I've introduced her to a few really unique bands and groups that she's never heard of. And then she came back to me one day and she goes, "Have you heard of Elvis?"
I
And I
love it.
went, I'm like, "Yes." And
So
she
great.
just happened to have an Elvis song come across something that she was listening to and went, "Wow, this is amazing." And I said, that's Elvis. That's what
That's
he
so
does."
cool. She's
Mhm.
got good taste.
Yeah. So I've started to introduce her to more like Motown and to some of the old,
Mm,
now she's getting a little bit of a diverse vibe to what she's listening,
yeah, that's fun. My son loves like that big band sound. Like a
like
lot of the
swing music
curious
type of thing.
yeah, swing, like a lot of the Curious George like music has sort of that swing vibe to it. And then he goes in like he likes that genre. And then he also like has the Peanuts, Peanuts like the classical piano
Yeah.
stuff that they play. He's got that on a playlist and he'll like listen to it in the car.
Mm.
So he's got a bit of an old soul too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my daughter more interested in anything else but Baby Shark because that drives us nuts.
It'll come.
We're getting there. She's once she listens to maybe a song once or twice and realizes, oh, there's actually something here, she'll sit and then be obsessed with it for 20 minutes and want to play it
Right.
all day
That's
long.
so funny.
Yeah, she's fun that way. So I have a couple off the cuff questions I think you'll find interesting.
Okay.
What's the most underrated salad dressing?
Oh, underrated. I think maybe Thousand Island.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like our go-to growing up, but like nobody ever has it anywhere.
I mean, yeah, I'm in the same boat actually. I used to really enjoy it and then you just never see it anymore.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
that made me think about that actually. Now, Who plays you in the movie of your life?
Who plays me?
Yeah, if you get to pick who your star actor is that plays you.
Hmm, maybe Gabrielle Union.
Okay. Do you think she can do you justice musically though?
That's a good question. Probably not. I think I'd have to play me. I don't know who else would play me.
I mean, hey, it's fair. It's your movie. You can pick whoever you want to star in it.
Yeah, it's true. I
Mhm.
guess I think I'd have to pick me. I don't know.
Now, this one's going to be interesting, and hopefully, it doesn't make the other ones mad. But who would your dream late night show be to perform on if you were actually performing?
Oh, dream late night show. You're gonna have to jog my memory about the late night shows.
So we got Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
There's Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Um, who else is out there now? Geez, there's places like Saturday Night Live that have big
hmm
performances.
hmm I think, okay, if I'm thinking of those, I'd probably go with Stephen Colbert.
Is there a reason him over someone like Jimmy Fallon?
Alan. I honestly I don't watch the late night shows much anymore. I do really like Jimmy Fallon, but I feel like I probably relate more with like that I would probably be more, at least in the past. I don't know what I think I'd be more like mind similar to Stephen
Okay,
Colbert. So
be
I
able to
think
connect more
yeah,
intellectually that way.
yeah,
No, that makes sense. Everyone has their own thoughts on that. And Stephen Colbert has a really great band that plays on the show right now too. So you
cool.
would have some very well seasoned musicians kind of backing you up in that sense.
Behind me.
Mhm.
That yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, no, I like that one. Now, an important question: what do you hope people take away from your music? I know we touched it a little bit on feeling connected in some sense, but is there anything deeper that you're hoping?
I think honestly, it's hope. I just want people to listen to my music and feel hopeful and have hope restored, you know?
Mhm.
I think hope is really powerful and life can sometimes feel absent of it. And so I just really hope my music inspires um, that sense in others. Hope, obviously, first and foremost in Christ, and that there's more than this, and that we don't have to despair, with all the things going on around us. And yeah, that's what I hope.
I mean, that's a pretty nice sentiment for sure. Now, what motivates you to keep walking down this musical road? We talked a bit about what you want to give to people, but what about you? What are your milestones you want to achieve?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that keeps me walking, I guess there's a few, but one of them is just that I have songs to share. I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer, but like I just there's if as long as I have a song to share, I just want to keep going so that I can share them. Um as long as there's something that's on my heart that I want people to know or to hear so as long as there are songs that keeps me going.
Mhm.
Um and also in my I've often been a quitter. I've quit a lot of things, and that desire to not be a quitter anymore keeps me going as well. And the last thing, probably the biggest thing, is I believe God has called me to do this, and I want to be faithful to the calling that He's placed on my life. And so those things, yeah.
Those are pretty good motivational points, that's for sure. Now, last question, and definitely not the worst one to end with is, are you happy?
Yes, I am happy. I think more than happy, I am grateful. Even just the other day, I was thinking about something that we've been kind of wanting that isn't happening yet. And um, the Lord reminded me that I have so many things to be thankful for, so many blessings. And that's where my happiness comes from, right? Like gratitude for um, all the things that, all the blessings, mostly people and health. And there's just, there's just so much to be thankful for. So,
Mhm.
yes, obviously things go up and down, but I am, I am happy and I'm really thankful.
I think that's a good feeling just to have, and it's always something that people strive for is that happiness. And sometimes it can be fleeting, but like you said, up and down, things always happen, and
Mhm.
if you keep walking in that right direction, it'll always get a little bit better.
Thank you.
Well, that's all the points I have written down here. Is there any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave to people?
I just try to encourage people that whatever journey they're on, just to keep being faithful, don't give up, keep going. Um, there's we won't always know why we're called to do something, but um, we will see fruit as we just continue to walk in obedience to the things that are on our hearts. So, yeah, I just want to encourage people to keep going.
No, I think that's great. And like you said, you don't always know. I didn't know when I started doing this work and hitting beats and everything. I didn't know where this was going to go and just kind of went its own way and I followed it and here we are now.
Right. Awesome. That's so cool.
Well, it was great to get to pick your brain and kind of see what makes you tick. It's always nice to meet the person behind the music.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully this wasn't too bad for you and not too shocking questions.
No, it wasn't crazy.
I try to keep it nice and simple because I know sometimes people aren't always great in interview scenarios, and this is something I
Yeah.
used to never do. And COVID hit, and I started doing interviews myself. So
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
actually a photographer, so I go out and I shoot live events, and I don't actually usually interact with people. And then once that stopped during COVID, I had an opportunity to jump into this.
That's so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It was not scary.
Where can people find you on social media and things like that so they can follow along?
Yeah, so I have Instagram, Damara Melissa Music is my handle,
Okay.
and I'm on all music platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, and all the rest of them. And I have a website, uh, www.damaramelissa.com. And yeah,
Well, we'll
I'm
make
all.
sure we link everything so people can follow your journey and enjoy your music.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And if there's ever a chance you want to come back and have a conversation, I'm always available and can definitely do this again at some time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. So we'll cut it off here and you enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully it's a good one.
Okay, you as well.
All
Take
right,
care.
bye now.
Bye-bye.